came to the United States from Mexico, and she was escaping the revolution. She was actually born, and her mother died at birth. She was the only child, and so her father took her and brought her across the border into the United States. And until the day she died, she never became a citizen, but she had her green card, and she had paid, and she'd go back and forth to El Paso and visit relatives, but she had 3 brothers that were born here because her dad got remarried, and they fought. I mean, one of them got shot out of a B-52, one was a belly gunner, a tail gunner, 2 brothers that fought in the war, and so she was very, very happy being in this country. And I remember as I got older in high school, I couldn't understand. I mean, we were very, very poor. I mean, people say, wow, we had a function, and there were maybe 10 people that showed up at a political function. And someone said, I'm really sorry that more people didn't show up. They had a lot of food at this restaurant called Vallejos in Sacramento. If you're familiar with that. And they said, it's really tough. We're really sorry about this thing. I said, why are you feeling sorry for me? I said, you don't need to feel sorry for me. I said, you know what tough is? I said, tough is when you're going to school and your shoes have holes in them and you put cardboard in them. And that's what tough is. It's tough seeing your mother who, from so much anxiety, is wringing her hands because she has no food and no money for Christmas, and she's crying. I said, that's tough. This isn't tough. This is not tough. So everything in life is relative. And I was thinking about my mother as I was driving over here. I thought, you know what's given me great faith, hope, and charity? It's probably been my mother. My dad died when I was 5 years old, and I didn't know. I thought he was sleeping. They tell me that I crawled up into the couch where he was laying. They called the doctor. He was a minor, and he had stopped drinking. He was an alcoholic. He had stopped drinking about 6 months before, they said. And so he died, and I was sleeping on the couch, and they said they tried to pull me away, and I thought he was sleeping, but I had a sister who had been born in August, and my sister's name was Esperanza, and Esperanza in Spanish means hope. And my mother must have had a lot of hope because she was number 14. I was number 12 of 14 brothers and sisters. And so she must have thought, you know what, there is hope. There's hope for me. So when my dad died, they changed her name to Agustina. His name was Agustina, my dad's name. So they changed her name to Agustina. But on her birth certificate, her name is Esperanza. And I thought about my mother, and I thought, what an interesting name that she had, because her name was Belen, B-E-L-E-N. And Belen in Spanish means Bethlehem. And all of these ironies came back to me. I realized that, you know, when my dad died when I was 5 years old, and I was born and raised in Utah, and I'm a Catholic, but the Mormons were the dominant faith there. And the Catholic churches then would try to help people. And I remember the public officials coming to our house, and they told me this later on, and they said, we can help you, but you have too many children. So there are 3 families that we have apportioned your children off, and you're going to let them go to each house, and they'll be able to help you that way. And so she certainly put her faith in God, because she said, no, she said, I will not separate my family. She said, we will starve together. We're going to die together if you don't help us, but you're not going to break up my family. Well, we got through it. The older brothers would end up working to contribute to the family. As you got older, you either worked, went to school, you either got married, and if you worked, you had to contribute to the house. And so we struggled through. We made it. We made it through. But I remember being on welfare till the 12th grade. And so what kept us through was her strong faith. She really believed in that there was a Lord, and He would provide for us, and He always has. Something has always come out. No matter what situation in life I always recollect back that she must have been a very, very powerful woman, and her belief was so strong that would get her through. And so as I would go through in life, and no matter what I've done, I've always thought, who can I depend on? And sometimes human beings let you down, and sometimes you let yourself down too, and you make big mistakes. And so I thought, well, what's always there is always universal, is that I have a strong faith, and I've never publicly talked about it to anybody, but and I think of situations in life. I remember that I always wanted to be an attorney, because I thought, hey, if you're an attorney, you're rich. So I was raised, all attorneys are rich. I didn't realize until I was adult how much people hate attorneys. So I thought, I'm going to be an attorney, and I was in Utah, and I'd shared this with Dawn before, that I talked to a lady who became a little bit of a mentor, and she told me, she said, first, I think she told me I had 4 strikes before I began, and I should probably move from Utah if I wanted to be an attorney. First, we were all Catholics, and it was a Mormon state. They were all unions, and I was a Mexican in a dominant white society, and I think they were all Democrats, and it was a Republican state. She said, you have 4 strikes against you, you ought to probably go to California. So in my senior year, my best sport was wrestling, and I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. The public doesn't know what they think it's just some political thing, but I know what I'm saying, and so I really have faith in me, and it comes from something else. Another short story that I'll share with you and I think my mother taught me those things, that God was a human being, and she had 14 children. There's no way that in her idea she'd ever have an abortion. There was her strong faith that she believed in me. And I wouldn't be here. If you think about 12 or 14, the chances of number 12 may not be around. Neither would Esperanza, my sister Tina. Another story I want to share that I think that there's no particular point in my life where I think that there was this big ray of white light that came and shone on me, and praise the Lord, and here I am. I think it's a combination of a lot of things that bring you to faith and know that you have there's something stronger that you believe in. I have 4 daughters, and never told anyone else this. So I decided, I told you about law school, and I rolled to go to law school. And I started law school at McGeorge, and I don't have a BA. But when I was picked to be the director of the California Youth Authority, I was criticized because I didn't have a degree. And a good friend of mine was a former chief of police named Ed Davis. And we shared an apartment in Sacramento, because I commuted back and forth from Orange County to Sacramento. And at that time I was chairman of the Youthful Offender Parole Board. I've been on that board for 5 years, and a guy people consider a communist, but I got along with him well, is Jerry Brown. He wanted that tough cop to be the director of the Youth Authority, so he said, I'd like you to be the director. So when I went through that confirmation process, I took a lot of heat for not having a degree. There was 2 women down south that were assemblywomen and senators that gave me a hard time. So Ed Davis said, you were going to go to law school. And we're sitting at dinner. I said, Ed, I can't go to law school. I said, I don't have a 4-year degree. He said, a lot of people send away for those degrees. They're all phony. He said, you are going to go to law school. And I said, well, he says, you go to McGeorge. They have a night program. Because I have 4 daughters. I'm coaching softball. We're here full-time for the state. And he said, I don't want you ever accused of not having the background experience. And I said, Ed, because he was a strong mentor, I said, how do you do that? He said, I already checked. He said, you have to take the law school aptitude test. You have to score a little higher. He said, but with your experience, you can do it. And you can get into school. They have a night program, a 4-year night program. So I took it, and I did score well, and I got admitted into law school. So I began law school, but when you have, it's an accredited law school, and they have the order of the court. They're a very respected law school. You have to take the first-year bar exam. So I had to take the first-year bar exam. I failed. And so I had a chance to get out and say, I failed this first year of law school. Well, that wasn't enough. He said, well, can't you take it again? I said, yeah, you can take it again. So I took it again, and I passed. So I went through, and about 2 or 3 years later, actually 2 years later, my wife becomes pregnant. And I have 4 daughters. This is a big deal because we have found out it's a boy. So we have a boy. And A week before he was born, he died. Stillborn. Said the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. My daughters have fought my whole family, because Mexican families are real macho, and hey, Tony finally has his boy, he's got 4 daughters, and so he was, we buried him, had a funeral for him and everything. And that was a tough time, and I didn't realize that I needed help with my family. I'm trying to hold it together. I dropped out of law school, and my daughter, who was 5 years old, the baby, not a baby anymore, but she'll always be my baby, but she was coming home in kindergarten with pictures of coffins and crosses and things like that, and she needed treatment. And I had another daughter who ended up, I to this day believe that traumatic experience for her, is what turned her to drugs, and I was going to do that. But she had tattoos, and she had put crosses on. She put Tony, and it wasn't for me. It was because we were named in Tony. So that was a tough time we had to get through, and but we got through it, and we're very strong for it, all of us. And I think that's what tests your faith. But I had a son, so people ask my wife, they would say, how many children do you have? We don't hurt their feelings and say that she tells family had 5 children, one of them died. But we tell them we have 4 daughters. But it takes faith, and my wife's faith and our faith got us through that situation. So do I believe there's a strength greater than me? Yeah, I do. Do I think that the faith and the hope and the charity part my mother taught me is, no matter what you have, you give a little bit to someone else, you help someone else. There'll always be someone else who has portions. Don't go around feeling sorry for yourself. You will not get anywhere in this world if you do that. And so I have a granddaughter that I've been raising for years, and we had her actually as a child, because that one daughter of mine that had all these challenges. We tried to take 2 of her kids away at one time. When you're a police officer, 16 years, she's been drug-free. But that one granddaughter said, Grandpa, got my first check. She's working, she's going to consume it, she's finishing her first year. And she said, what shall I do with it? And I said, well, what you're going to do is you're going to take 1/10, no matter how much you make, and you're going to give it away. She said, give it away? This is her money. This is the most. I said, yes, give it away. You can give it to your mother, you can give it to the church, you can give it to someone who needs it, but you're going to give it away. And then I said, second, you're going to save to invest later on, so you can be self-sustaining. I said, another 10, and then you do what you want with the rest. If you want to pay a bill here, you want to do something, you can contribute to the household. So I think it's that giving back that kind of compelled me. I could stay as the United States Marshal. I just retired last August. I could have been very comfortable. I'm comfortable, financially I'm comfortable. I'm not hurting, and so I tell people I can't hold a job. I've had so many different experiences, but they've been opportunities that people have really helped me. But I decided to run for Congress, and I was saying I didn't want to get the political thing. I want to meet new people. I think I've been invited here. I want to respect that. But I am running for Congress because I think I have something that I can contribute, and I think I can be a good representative for the district. And that's basically it. I didn't have a planned format or anything, an agenda. I have no personal agenda except to share a little bit of myself, let you know who I am. But I'm certainly, I don't know what your protocols here are, but I'm certainly open to any questions if you have any questions of me.
Yeah.
Tony, what made you?
And he's waving this gun, so we pulled out my gun, and I sighted on him, and he's yelling, and they said there's been shots fired. So this thing was obviously fired this gun already, and you're thinking, I want to go home. I have children, I want to go home. That's all you think about. You start thinking about yourself. And so I'm yelling at him, drop the gun. And you don't use that. There's an F word we use. Command presence, pay attention. And so I'm yelling, drop the gun, drop the gun. And And he starts to turn around, and then I see a young girl walking in the back of him. And I thought, oh, shit. No. I'm thinking, I don't want to shoot. I don't want to shoot. And that's when I said, please God, please God. And then he turned around, and I started to squeeze, and I saw her walk by again. I waited a second, and just that 1 second, he threw the gun. And I felt like everything just drained out of me, and I was so upset. I ran up and threw him down, because in his mind, he didn't understand what was going on, but here was a situation where I didn't know what I was going to do. So those things happen. You have chances, opportunities, situations that happen, and you have to make the decision of what you're going to do. And we're not perfect in this world. We make human beings that make mistakes. And there are mistakes we make by hiring certain people as police officers who should be police officers. There are people that don't understand how to handle authority. And so all those things that happened to me those 13 years that I was a policeman brought me to this point. And a lot of people never get in the shooting. I was involved in 4 different ones, and 3 of them where I shot. And one guy actually tried to shoot my partner, and I hit him here and here, and he died. He's still in prison. But so those situations, you have professional government experience. I don't like the way our country's going. I really am. I'm conservative, which isn't a 4-letter word, but I don't like the way our government's going. I think there are people, and it's not anti-Muslim, but I really think that we have some strong things that we're in a battle in this country. I think we still are the greatest country in the world, and I see things changing. I thought there was no one president that could bring down a country, but when you have a perfect storm, you have a Congress and a Senate and everything is working, and you see what is going on, I thought, no, I want to slow that machine down. If I can just, even though there's 435 congressmen, I would like to think that I have a multiplier effect of such influence that I can influence other people to slow these things down. I think we're overtaxed. So from that standpoint, from a professional standpoint, I thought I could, and I wasn't going to retire. I had headhunters after me, and I wasn't going to stay in the administration. I'm going to stay active. I said, well, I can get 10 more years. I want to do public service and see if I can influence. I have faith in myself that I can influence decisions. So that's the, from a personal standpoint, there's not one single Republican of Mexican-American ancestry that's in the United States Congress. There's one named Henry Bonilla out of Texas who has left. And I think that the Latino community are actually conservative in their values as far as their belief in faith, their family, their work ethic. They don't like immigrants from the government, and they're conservative in all their values, but they vote Democrat. And I thought if they had a Latino congressman, they'd say, it must be okay. And so I think from a personal standpoint, it's a challenge. It's a district that, because I sold my home in Sacramento to move here. I moved to Lodi. Someone said, I had some friends that lived there. I said, what's the most conservative area? They said, probably Lodi. So I'm going to buy a home in Lodi. So I bought a home in July and moved into Lodi in August. And I tell people the analogy about the ham and egg breakfast, you know, the chicken contributes, the ham's committed.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm committed. And so you have, and so the demographics were 39% Republican, 39% Democrat, 20% decline to state. They either are embarrassed to declare what they are or they can't stand either party. So I'm pretty independent. And then the last was about 24% Hispanic population in San Joaquin County in the district. And I thought if anybody could take it back, it would be a Republican conservative like Latino. So that's why I mean.
No, I was going to make a statement, or I was going to ask you a question that